Hello and welcome to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Tonight it's college baseball as the UNO Privateers out of the Southland Conference meet the LSU Tigers from the SEC in the final midweek game for both of these teams. Come on inside beautiful Alex Box Stadium, Skip Burtman Field, with former Golden Spikes Award winner Ben McDonald. I'm Len Rollins. Ben, the rush toward postseason is on for LSU in particular. The Tigers looking for seeding not only in the SEC tournament, but also in the NCAA tournament and a potential home site in a regional.
Yeah, work to do for LSU. Rough week for LSU last week. They go 1-3 on the week, so certainly a lot of work to do. But if you look where LSU is in the RPI at 22, number 5 strength of schedule, I still say get past and win the game tonight. They win 2 or 3 against Auburn this weekend, then go to the SEC tournament and go 2-2. I think LSU has a real shot to host postseason play right here in Baton Rouge.
Well, Antoine Duplantis is still chasing history for the Tigers, trying to close in on Eddie Furness's all-time hit record at LSU.
Yeah, had another solid week. You see the hit total now up to 334. Eddie Furness has 352. So if LSU can make a deep run into the playoffs, Antoine Duplantis could be your all-time hits leader in LSU history.
This UNO team got off to a very slow start, but the last 3 weeks, the Privateers are coming on in a hurry.
Yeah, head coach Blake Dean in his 4th season at UNO will tell you 22 new faces on that roster this year. They are starting to grow up, and it's shown up lately. They've won their last 5 ball games, 9 of their last 11, and their last 3 Southland Conference Series victories as well. And boy, the offense has really taken a tick up. And if you look at Colin Morrell, he's been really, really good. You see, he's the Southland Conference Player of the Week last week. He hit .524, 3 doubles, 2 home runs. He leads the Southland Conference in runs scored, and he is tied for first in doubles as well.
Let's compare some numbers. Privateers, Tigers.
Very similar numbers. LSU with a big advantage in the power department.
Well, here's Blake Dean's starting lineup at the top. Colin Morrill hitting .313. Only Gage Howard is better at .342. Those are the 2 300 hitters in the lineup. Rayburn Howard, Kennard Howard, Isa, Goche, Tejeda, and Willis for the Privateers against Devin Fontenot. This young man, after 21 relief appearances, is making his first start of the year.
Yeah, first start of the year and only the 3rd start of his entire career. He's been at the back end of the bullpen for LSU, and he's been really good in the back end. 6 saves this year, but he didn't pitch this weekend at Arkansas. Had a little mechanical issues the last couple of times out, so Paul Mainieri's decided to, in a less stress type situation, start him, let him get an inning or 2 under his belt, try to fix the mechanics and get him ready for this weekend as Auburn comes to town.
He's only allowed 21 hits in 32 innings, but there have been a lot of base runners via walk.
Yeah.
With 18 of those in 32 innings. That's too many for him. He strikes out about a batter an inning.
Yeah, he's good at that, and we'll watch that front shoulder. His left shoulder, if he's spinning off towards first base when his mechanical issue, they want him as he comes down the slope to stay a little bit more closed and have that front shoulder driving a little bit more towards the mitt. So we'll see if Devin Fontenot can get back on track tonight against a very hot UNO team.
There's only a cloud or 2 in the sky. Well, I see 3 right now.
3.
That's it.
And what color is the
this
sky?
this is classic robin's egg blue.
Ah, I like it.
Here we go. Lots of sunshine. Temperature in the low 80s right now, I believe. We'll check it in a minute. And we are underway. The Privateers 28-24 after an extremely poor start. They need to sweep their final Southland Conference opponent, Stephen F. Austin, to lock in a Southland Conference tournament berth. 8 teams out of that 13-team league will participate in Sugar Land, Texas next week in the tournament.
Yeah, and Blake Dean, in his first 3 years at UNO, has made the conference tournament every year. He's finished 7th in the conference in the regular season the last 3 years. They currently sit in 10th place, so they need a big weekend this weekend to do the Privateers to get to Sugar Land.
Morrill crouches at the plate, checks his swing, and that one angles over from Fontenot. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We are underway. Morrill, Rayburn, and Howard for the UNO Privateers. Speaking of Blake Dean, he was able to make it to the 10th year anniversary of the 2009 College World Series champion team for LSU last week. Or a couple of weekends ago against Ole Miss. And a quirk in the schedule, they actually played a doubleheader on Friday, did not play on Saturday because of rain. That allowed him to come up here from New Orleans and participate with the rest of those teammates. This ball carries out to right center field. Watson has time, circles to his left, and he's got it. LSU defensively lines up with Daniel Cabrera, Zach Watson, and Antoine Duplantis in the pasture from left to right. Chris Reed has the start at first base. Hal Hughes is in the lineup tonight at third. Josh Smith and Brant Broussard are the middle infielders. Devin Fontenot and Brock Mathis form the LSU battery. Wade Rayburn hitting just a couple of ticks under 300. He's having a good year at 298. He has not been an everyday player. This is his 28th start in the 33rd game in which he's appeared. But he's had more hits than starts this year. Rayburn is a junior. Morrill has flied to center to open the game. What a gorgeous evening unfolding for baseball. And we are delighted to have you watching in your living rooms, on your mobile devices, wherever you may be enjoying LSU UNO baseball.
Well, the velocity certainly good for Fontenot so far. He's been 93, 94 miles an hour, which is kind of what he's pitched out all year long. But you mentioned the command issues, and that's what he hopes to get straightened out tonight.
He was ahead in the count, but comes way inside, and Rayburn is aboard after being hit by pitch.
Boy, that's a big miss there. You could tell Brock Mathis, the catcher for LSU, he wanted the ball in the inside part of the plate. That's what they were aiming for, but Fontenot just kind of jerked it. And that's kind of what he's been doing, is jerking that ball down and away to the right-handers and inside to the left-handers.
83 degrees right now, a very low humidity. It's in the mid-30s, and cloudy a few clouds, mostly sunshine right now. Fontenot from the stretch. Runner at first, one out. Pierce Howard is first pitch swinging, and that one sliced off toward the yard. Down there on the left side, that configuration of tents where a variety of cold beverages are served.
Yes, adult beverages.
Pierce Howard at 281. This is his 50th start. Only Salo Iza and Morrill have more, along with Darren Willis. Each of those three has started 52 games. Make it 53 now. We expect to see Fontenot a couple of innings tonight, and he would be available for the Auburn series Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, and again, I think that's the challenge for Paul Mainieri tonight is, with another quick turnaround, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all teams have it the only time this year, conference, because everybody's getting ready for the SEC tournament that will begin on Tuesday in Hoover, Alabama. So everybody plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But you got to be careful with your pitching, because if you pitch the guys too much on a Tuesday night, they won't be available for game one on Thursday.
The outfield is maybe a step or two deeper than normal and straight away. Howard bangs that foul ball off the facing of the LSU dugout. He's got 5 homers, 7 leads the team, and that's Morrill at the top of the order. Goche has 6, and Howard is in third place with 5, along with Salo Iza. Rayburn at first base after being plunked. And a late swing by Pierce Howard. That ball had him baffled. He finally decided to pull the trigger, but was already in the mitt of Mathis.
Yeah, watch this late movement down and away right there. See how that ball just explodes down and away from Howard? Really good pitch. And that's what Fontenot does best. It's a two-seam fastball that he'll throw, which has a lot of sink and movement to it. It's up to 94 miles an hour. He'll back it up with a couple of breaking balls you've seen as well.
Treston Kennard brings a 261 average to the plate. Four homers, 22 driven home. 2 outs, a runner at first. Strike one. Luke Weems is calling balls and strikes tonight. Kennard digs in. He stands close to the plate with a slightly closed stance. Rayburn is on the move. The pitch is inside. The peg down is a good one, but late. Brock Mathis did everything he could, and he laid it into the glove of the second baseman Broussard at second base. But Rayburn gathers his first stolen base of the year.
Yeah, Rayburn picked the perfect pitch to run on a breaking ball, which obviously takes a little bit longer to get to home plate. Mathis comes up and throws a strike right down to Broussard, who's covering the bag, but you can clearly see Rayburn in easily and almost slides past the bag. Just by a toenail he keeps on the bag.
Josh Smith roams to his left and uncorks a strike over to Chris Reed, and Kennard is retired, and so are the Privateers. A runner left at second base. No score as we go to the bottom of the first on a beautiful evening. First time in a scoreless game, and this is the way it lines up for LSU coach Paul Mainieri. Josh Smith at the top, leading the team with a .347 average, followed by Brant Broussard, Antoine Duplantis, and Daniel Cabrera. Chris Reed, Cade Beloso, Zach Watson, Hal Hughes, and Brock Mathis catching at the bottom of the order for the Tigers against Cortland Ramirez, a freshman out of Center Point, Louisiana. And as you might expect, that is exactly in the center of the state.
Is that near Alexandria?
Just south of Alexandria.
Okay, yeah. He's a big kid, 6'5" freshman. He's been mostly a reliever and gotten 2 or 3 of those midweek starts in under his belt. 36 in the third innings pitch. A few more hits in innings pitch. Not many walks, though. 12 walks, pretty good for 36. 22 strikeouts for the big right-hander out of Center Point, Louisiana.
Opponents are hitting .292 against him this year with those 42 hits allowed in 36 and a third innings.
Well, he's a good athlete. Played a little basketball and baseball at Grace Christian High School in Alexandria.
And the lanky righty finds the strike zone against Josh Smith. This is why I consider Josh Smith one of the best leadoff batters in the league. He reaches safely 47% of the time when he leads off an inning. So half the time when this young man starts an inning, he reaches base.
That's a good percentage. That's what you want for your leadoff guy. And LSU's going to have to make some adjustments because they're not going to see SEC pitching tonight out of Ramirez as far as velocity goes. Fastball is going to be 84 to 86 miles an hour. So you'd call that a Ronald Reagan type fastball, mid-80s. Breaking ball and a changeup.
Did you steal that from me a couple of years ago?
I did.
I like it.
It was so good I had to use it.
I haven't heard it in a while. Smith lifts this one out of play behind the plate. Smith, Broussard, and Duplantis for the Tigers. Josh Smith hits it sharply, but the second baseman is in the right place at the right time. And Salo Aiza makes the play. Let's check UNO defensively. Colin Morrill at first base. Salo Aiza, the second baseman. Darren Willis next to him. Antonio Goche at third. Treston Kennard is the left fielder. Wade Rayburn in center. Pierce Howard in right. Jorge Tejeda is catching Cortland Ramirez. A strike to Brant Broussard. Broussard's average has risen a bit the last few weeks. He's at .243, making his 34th start.
Yeah, Broussard, one of those bright spots for LSU in a rough week last week when they go 1-3. They only hit 200, a little over 200 in those 4 games. But both Broussard and Hal Hughes showed some life for LSU this past weekend.
Willis makes a wide throw at first, and Morrill could not connect on the swing tag.
Yeah, Willis, the shortstop here, just a routine ground ball. You see Broussard really getting down the line, but the throw is up towards home plate and a sweep tag by Morrill. He just can't get Broussard right there. Broussard really got down the line.
So a throwing error on Darren Willis gives LSU some life with Antoine Duplantis coming to the plate. The runner is on the move, and the peg down is a good one and right into the glove on a hop. And Willis applies the tag as Broussard is thrown out trying to swipe second base. Well done by Jorge Tejeda.
Yeah, and by Willis, the shortstop, too. Tejeda comes out of there. Watch, he throws a dart, but it's a short hop, and the shortstop, Willis, picks it off the ground and applies the tag, all at about the same time, and they cut down a very speedy Brant Broussard.
That's snared by the first baseman. Duplantis is safe, hustling down to the bag. Antoine Duplantis running very hard, beat the throw. A tremendous catch by Morrill to keep that ball from going into the right field corner, but he and the pitcher could not connect in time.
Well, Ramirez, the pitcher, that is his job to get to first base in time, and Morrill came up with it in plenty of time. He shovels it over to Ramirez, who is just about a half a step late, and the speedy Antoine Duplantis picks up his 335th base hit.
He is now 17 base hits behind former first baseman Eddie Furness, who played from 1995 through 1998. And of course has been a physician in Nacogdoches, Texas since his college and professional career ended. Here's Cabrera with Duplantis aboard on the infield hit. Cabrera rips this one, and it's snared by Willis. Willis, with two quick steps to his right, left his feet, lunged, and grabbed it in the webbing of his glove.
Well, two outstanding plays by Willis. The pick to get Brant Broussard on the throw down, and watch this. Little snow cone action. He lays out right there and catches it just in the web, and we are scoreless as we head to the top of the second inning.
Those, including a 14-6 win in Baton Rouge last year. Gage Howard swings on the first pitch and finds center field with a two-bouncer up the middle. That is his 61st hit of the year, which leads the Privateers.
You're just a little two-hopper right up the middle. You can see the second baseman, Brant Broussard, kind of shaded towards the hole over there, more on the pool side. Ball gets through the infield. A good start here at the top of the second inning for the UNO Privateers.
Ben, I need to look at the top of the order. Morrill has 66 base hits to lead the Privateers, so Howard just collected his 61st, which is second behind Morrill.
Yeah, Morrill with those 66 hits, he's 8th best in the entire conference as far as numbers of base hits. You saw what he did in doubles and leads them in runs scored the entire conference.
Here's Salo Aiza. Aiza of Cuban heritage. And there is a Cuban native in the lineup tonight in Jorge Tejeda. Devin Fontenot working in the second. He hit a batter in the first, but retired the other three he faced, including one by strikeout. Aiza batting .216, but he's driven in 26. The 1-2 pitch from Devin Fontenot in his first start of the year. Blowing inside. There is a lazy wind blowing from right to left out toward left center field. There's Old Glory in the sunlight with Tiger Stadium in the background.
Yeah. Ball jumping in BP today, too, as it normally does this time of the year as the weather begins to heat up. Be a little tougher to get it out to right. You'll be kind of going against the wind, but anything up in the air toward left center field, left field really going to carry.
And with the temperature right at 83 degrees and the humidity in the mid-30s at the start of the game, that's going to help things too. Yeah. But a beautiful night for baseball here. This is the final time that LSU will play a midweek game. And the final 3 games of the series in this ballpark, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, against Auburn. Game times are 6:30, 7 o'clock, and 2 p.m., all of it Central Time. This is the 14th midweek game for the Tigers in 2019. Watson gives a bit of ground, but he's got room. And there's the first out. LSU has had some problems in games other than on the weekend. They are 8-5 in midweek games. And in those 5 losses, they have really struggled to find any offensive power.
Yeah. I mean, the offense has been down. The pitch has been tough. You can kind of write the pitching off the fact that, having to use some guys that aren't quite ready because the depth of the staff hasn't been there because of so many injuries. But still, the offense has not responded. LSU's lost midweek games to Northwestern State, McNeese, Southern University,
UL.
And it's hurt them. It's hurt them in the RPI to lose those kind of games. Of course, when the tournament committee gets together in just a few short days from now to decide NCAA bids and potential regional hosts and super regional hosts as far as being a top 8 national seed, all those things will be factored in, but they always put more weight on the weekend than they do on the midweek games. Matter of fact, you can look at LSU's tournament resume. You see them at a 22 and an RPI, number 4 strength of schedule. And look at that third line. That's what you got to circle. LSU has 17 victories against the top 50 RPI, and I think that's what's going to help them, Lynn. There's only 4 teams in the country that are better than that. And all 4 of those teams have set themselves up to be national seeds, top 8 national seeds. So I like that fact from LSU, and that's why I think if LSU can win 2 of 3 this weekend, you get to 19 top 50 RPIs because Auburn has a really good RPI above LSU. And then LSU goes to Hoover, Alabama, SEC tournament. I think they go 2-2 there. You're going to make a strong case for LSU to be in that top 16 and be able to host postseason play right here at the box. But that's what I think a minimum has to happen.
There's some evidence there, but there's also the fact that I don't think any team with less than 37 victories has ever hosted a regional.
Mm-hmm. And that's against them, too. But the fact, I think the strength of schedule is going to not go down for LSU because, again, you play Auburn this weekend, and you're going to play 2 really quality opponents in the SEC tournament if you can win game 1 in Hoover because LSU will not be in the top 4. I don't see a scenario of that happening. So they're going to play on Tuesday in an elimination game and will have to win game 1.
Now, having said that about the larger body of work over the course of the season, that has no bearing on 2019.
Yeah.
So we shall see, but there's obviously a great deal of work to do for these LSU Tigers to host a regional. Cabrera giving ground. He looks up, and that is out of his reach. It's up in the bleachers. A home run for Antonio Gauthier. A 2-run swat for Gauthier. The freshman has just hit his 7th of the season, and it's 2-0. Privateers on a homer by Antonio Gauthier.
How about that? Young man from Lake Charles, played at Barb High School, just a freshman, hits his 7th long one. We talk about the ball was going to carry out towards left center field. When the ball went up, I didn't think it had a chance, but it continued to carry, and the freshman drives in his 33rd run of the year, his 7th long ball of the season.
He and Morrill are now tied with 7 homers apiece. And Fontenot has given up 4 home runs this year. He comes back with a nice fastball for a strike on Jorge Tejeda. Tejeda from Villa Clara, Cuba. Ole.
Cuba.
2 quick strikes. But Fontenot surrendered a single to Howard and a 1-out home run to Goche. That other midweek loss we were talking about was to Louisiana Tech. Tigers scored only 1 run in that game.
Yeah, that was last Tuesday night. LSU got beat 12-1 by Louisiana Tech. So the midweek games have certainly been an issue and certainly have hurt LSU's resume.
One-two pitch. Misses outside. Darren Willis, the shortstop, the number 9 hitter, is on deck. The Privateers have not hit a lot of home runs this year, but Goche left little doubt with that swing. Fontenot, after getting ahead 2 strikes, now faces a full count. And he comes back to take care of business as Tejeda can't find the breaking pitch.
Yeah, some really nice movement on this pitch. Watch the downward movement right there, and Tejeda swings right over the top of it.
Strikeout number 2 for Fontenot. Here's Willis, the shortstop. Darren hitting .261. He's driven in 28. That's nice production at the bottom of the order.
Yeah, we had a chance to visit with head coach for UNO, Blake Dean, and said, okay, what's been the difference lately for your club? He said, well, I had 22 new faces this year and a lot of young guys and some guys that haven't been here at UNO before. And it's just taken us a while to put it all together, because if you went back and look at, about a month ago, there was no way that Blake Dean's bunch even had a shot to get in that top 8. 13 teams in the Southland Conference, the top 8 get to go to Sugar Land, Texas, as you said, into their conference tournament. But now they kind of control their own destiny. It's a long shot still, because they got a sweep. It's what's probably got to happen for them to get in, but still, they've got a shot. But he said they've really come together. They've grown up. He said, now we're still going to make some mistakes because we're young, but he said, I like the way our kids have competed the last 3 weekends. They've won all 3 of their Southland Conference series the last 3 weekends. So we're hitting it much better. The pitching has gotten better as well.
Well, they've won 7 of their last 9 conference games, and that's put them back in the running, the potential for the conference tournament. Willis is on his way to second base as he finds a piece of grass about 1.5 feet inside the foul line. And Matthew Beck is up and is going to start throwing in the LSU bullpen.
Yeah, because Fontenot's right about 40 pitches now. You don't want to get him much over 40 because he won't be available to you for game 1 of the series against Auburn coming up. But UNO's starting to strike the ball firmly.
Indeed. Howard with a 2-bouncer up the middle. Goche with a long home run to left field. And Willis put a charge into that double down the left field line. 2 outs. And Morrill at the plate. Willis takes the lead from second. He'll be running on contact with 2 gone. Morrill's 66 hits lead the team. He flied to center field last time, and Alan Dunn is on his way to the mound. Well, Ben, we're going to open up the Twitter lines tonight for people who might have a question they'd like to ask you or a topic on which they would like you to comment.
Yeah, we got some questions starting to come in, too, both on Twitter and Instagram. What player from LSU has improved from the start of the season the most to now? I'll
That's
let
a
you
good
answer that
question.
one. What do you think?
Cade Beloso.
I wouldn't disagree with that. Young man, that Gatorade High School Player of the Year. Last year in Louisiana, you get a freshman who's been pretty much an everyday player, played first base, he's DH'd a lot. You never know what you're going to get from freshmen, but Beloso started off real good when the pitching competition wasn't great early in the year. Then he kind of saw the SEC pitching for the first time, and he backed up. But then year in Louisiana, you get a freshman who's been pretty much an everyday player, played first base, he's DH'd a lot. You never know what you're going to get from freshmen, but Beloso started off real good when the pitching competition wasn't great early in the year. Then he kind of saw the SEC pitching for the first time, and he backed up. But then he's made that improvement. He's gotten hot the last couple of weekends. For a freshman, he's been a difference maker for LSU in the center of that lineup.
He's got a little bit of a sore ankle right now, which has kept him out of the lineup at first base defensively, but should be good to go over the weekend. Morrill looks at one upstairs. .32 driven in for this leadoff batter. You don't often see first baseman at the top of the order, but here's one. Morrill hits a liner to left, but it's right out to Daniel Cabrera. So he struck it well, but lines out to the left fielder. However, Antonio Goche has given UNO a 2-0 lead with this long opposite field home run. And on that swing, his 7th home run of the season, the Privateers jump to the lead. Coach who took the first Louisiana team to the College World Series. UNO was that team. Ron Maestri still active with the program, trying to raise some money for the UNO baseball program. They are in the process of trying to gather funds for a new locker room complex for the Privateers. Chris Reed at 2-2. Hits this one deep to left field. Kennard is back. He's on the warning track, but he's got room on the dirt and makes that catch. Reed tried to duplicate what Goche did in the top of the inning from the left side.
Yeah, same type of swing, inside-out swing, fastball running down away. Both of those guys you mentioned, left-handers. Stayed inside it and drove it that way, and the wind got carrying that ball a little bit, but not quite far enough.
So Cade Beloso steps to the plate. 2 runs, 3 hits for UNO. No runs, 1 hit for LSU. That base hit coming on an infield bouncer by Duplantis. And Beloso likes the first pitch he sees and sends it back from whence it came. A solid line drive single up the middle.
And that's what he's doing. When he's at his best, that's what Cade Beloso's doing. Driving the ball right back up the middle. Waiting. Seeing the ball as long as he can, and look at that nice head down balance swing, just a line drive right up the middle. Good piece of hitting, and again, Cade Beloso has grown up. Good start, struggled early, and boy, as of late, seems to be finding his stroke again at the right time.
Zach Watson, the center fielder. First pitch swinging, hits it sharply to Goche to second for 1, the relay to first for 2. Goche, Isa, and Morrill turn it over. Around the horn it went, and the Tigers.
Yeah, Goche gets rid of this ball quickly, and a perfect throw to the second baseman, Isa, and they easily double up Zach Watson. UNO up 2-0.
Works.
Stroke. Your right-hander Matthew Beck. Goche And here's one of the tallest pitchers in the league and the tallest player on LSU's roster, 6'7" junior right-hander Matthew Beck, on in relief here after 2 innings by Devin Fontenot.
Yeah, Beck's been pretty good. You put his full body of work this season, and he's been really good. Making his 22nd appearance, 30 strikeouts, 21 walks, so that's been an issue for him like it has been for Fontenot from time to time. But the stuff's good. You know about Matthew Beck. It's 88-92. Big overhand breaking ball from the 6'7" right-hander.
Are you and Beck the same height?
Yes.
Brent Broussard can't find it, and Wade Rayburn strokes one between Broussard and Reed. And a base hit for UNO to open the second inning as they did in the third.
Yeah,
or in the third as they did in the second.
UNO has come out being aggressive against LSU. Picked up their 4th hit of the night already. UNO came in with a 262 team batting average, 9th best in the Southland Conference. Not a big power team, 36 home runs. That's 8th best in the league.
But over the last 3 weeks, that's a team average that's ascended a bit.
You can almost throw away that because they're certainly not swinging it like a 262 team batting average right now. And that's the great thing about this time of the year. If you've had a great year, that's wonderful. If you've had a bad year, it really matters what you do from this point forward, especially if you're LSU fixing to get into postseason play. We don't know if UNO is going to make postseason play or not. They got to have a big weekend this weekend. They probably have to sweep in order to get into the conference tournament. But you can make a difference. No matter where you've been and what you've done, you can make a difference from this point forward. I think if you're LSU and some guys that have struggles at the plate a little bit, worry about what you do this point forward.
That series against Stephen F. Austin is in Nacogdoches, Texas. Zach Watson has plenty of time in center field to get under it, and there's the first out. Pierce Howard flies to center field after striking out in the first. This brings on Treston Kennard, who grounded out to Josh Smith in the second inning. Four hits for the visitors, 2 hits for the Tigers. Beck left that breaking pitch up. And that one elevated as well. Kennard comes out of Odessa Junior College. He hit just under 400 last year. And 15 of his base hits cleared the wall. Watson is under it again. And that's his 4th putout already.
That's where you want the fly balls to go if you're pitching here at the box. You don't see many home runs leave straightaway center field in this ballpark. Down the right field line, down the left field line, yes. Left center field today because of the wind, it can get out. But think about how many balls you've seen go straightaway center field.
No, but we have a guy who just stepped in the booth who peppered right center field pretty well. Austin Bain has come by to say hello.
The Bain train is in the house, I'm going to tell you. And there's still some holes out there in right center field where he used to hit it off the wall out there pretty regularly.
Runner on the move from first. The peg is very high. Rayburn swipes his second base of the season. Both of them have come in this game.
Yeah, another really good jump. This time he gets a fastball to run on, but I think with a good throw might have had a chance. You see Josh Smith trying to fool the runner like it got by him. So Rayburn didn't have a stolen base going into the game today, and yet he's 2 for 2. And that's obviously been an issue for LSU at times this year, is the stolen base department. Some of it's been on the catchers, but a lot of it's been on the pitchers, just not giving the catchers enough time to throw guys out. And LSU has gotten better, because if you go back to early in the season when they were in Austin, for instance, when they got swept, in Austin, it was really bad. I mean, there was a lot of stolen bases that weekend, and they worked really hard on that since then, and they've been better.
Mathis has thrown out 14% of the base runners who have attempted to steal. You'd like to have that number at least in the mid-30s. LSU as a team has only caught 12 of 93 base stealers this year.
Yeah, it's not good. Saul Garza's been catching a little bit more on the weekend because the bat has started to come to life for him. I think, what has he got, 4 home runs now, probably in the last 3 weeks, I guess?
Howard has been waved to first base on the intentional pass. So Howard, who singled last time, waved down to first in the middle of the at-bat. So an intentional walk, 2 outs. There's a force at third, a force at second.
Well, Howard came in hitting .353. Izza, who's hitting behind him, only hitting .216. So from a percentage or a number standpoint, it makes sense.
So Salo Isa flied to center last time. Matthew Beck in relief of Devin Fontenot, who pitched the first couple of innings. Gave up 3 hits and a 2-run homer to Gauthier in the second. We play in the top of the third, UNO and LSU. Beck has faced 5 batters, Ben, and he started all 5 of them outside of the strike zone.
Yeah, that control has been an issue from time to time. A few too many walks for Matthew Beck, because you love his stuff. 6'7", he can really drive it downhill. There's a good fastball down and away. You got to throw a strike, and he throws a perfect one just on the outside part of the plate, right at the bottom of the knees.
Gauthier, who homered last time, is on deck. There are 2 outs and 2 on, and a 2-0 lead for UNO. A hitter's count here, 3-1 to Isa. And Beck misses. So the bases are loaded for the young man who hit an opposite field home run in his first at bat.
Yeah, just a pretty swing by Gauthier. Watch this ball, kind of middle away. Didn't try to pull it. Hands go first. Barrel follows it. I mean, he easily gets this one out. Opposite field, left center field. That gave UNO a 2-0 lead, which they still have now.
Beck has only thrown 4 strikes out of 16 pitches. Two outs and the bases are loaded as Beck tries to get his team back to the dugout. Gauthier lays off of it. It's high.
Down at 1-1. Away from Gauthier, you can see it right there at the end. So if you're Gauthier, you have no idea. 1 ball, 2 strike count. Is he going to throw the big overhand breaking ball, or is he coming back with the fastball?
Beck was a fine quarterback at Alexandria Senior High School in a pass-happy offense. This ball is hit high. It's hit deep. Duplantis backs up. It appears he's got room, and he does. A few strides in front of the warning track in right field. So Gauthier hits it deep to right, but Duplantis is there. The bases are left loaded. We remain 2-0 And a lot of won victories this year. The team finished in the NCAA semifinals for the first time ever. Tigers were ranked 3rd in the country at the end of the year, the highest ranking in program history. And a lot of victories in a short period of time for Russell Brock. One of 2 SEC teams that participate in beach volleyball. South Carolina is the other. But that's a team that finished 3rd in the national championship tournament in Gulf Shores, Alabama, a few days ago. Well, the 7:23 is right on time beyond the right center field wall.
I did like the old 7:24 right on time as it passes by.
Well, it started
at
at 7:23.
Yeah, we're catching the back end of it, so it's 7:24. It's a long one.
Hal Hughes is at the plate for the first time. Brock Mathis will follow, and then Josh Smith. Cortland Ramirez has thrown about twice as many strikes as he has balls. This is a freshman right-hander, certainly not overpowering. Blake Dean was hoping he might get 5 innings out of this lanky right-hander. He's been helped by the 44th double play of the season for UNO, and that's 2nd in the Southland Conference.
That's what he gets. Ramirez gets a lot of ground balls, sinker ball pitcher, a lot of two-seam fastballs. Again, it's not an exploding fastball. You're going to see it 83 to 86, but he keeps it down. The young man was a good athlete.
From Center Point, Louisiana.
Yeah, led his high school team 2000 state championship, where he was the state MVP that year and MVP of the state tournament.
Now, Center Point has the entering and leaving sign on the same post.
I think it probably don't even have a red light. It's more of a 4-way stop at best. Is it like dry prong, or is it that small? Or
there's nothing like dry prong.
I understand. Sorry for asking that.
Ramirez issues his first walk. So the Tigers have had 4 base runners now, 2 by singles, 1 by error, 1 by walk.
Well, Hal Hughes, we mentioned him last week. LSU only went 1-3, but Hal Hughes had a really good week. Hit .429 on the week, 3 hits and 7 at bats. Brant Broussard also hit .429 last week, and they were the tops for LSU in those 4 games from an offensive standpoint.
Let's see what Mathis does here. Trailing 2-0, he takes a strike. Brock has caught the majority of the games, especially in the first half of the season.
Yeah, he was a warrior. He really was. I mean, caught every game as Saul Garza was coming back from a little minor knee surgery.
That's hit sharply. What a play by Goche. And bobbled at second on the bounce. Goche made a heck of a pluck, but could not start the double play successfully with a bad peg to second base.
Yeah, trying to be a little bit too quick, and if you watch his feet right here, it makes an outstanding play, but he doesn't all the way set the feet and get squared towards second base and just kind of bounced it over to Isa, who couldn't come up with the short hop, and LSU catches a break. I don't think UNO would have been able to turn that double play in that situation, but certainly could have got the lead out. But LSU first and second now, nobody out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
So Hughes reaches on the throwing error. Mathis is at first base on the fielder's choice. And Josh Smith comes to the plate with an RBI opportunity. Smith hit the ball sharply on the ground to second base to open the game for the Tigers. Hughes and Mathis are LSU base runners. A base hit for Josh Smith. Hughes will not advance past third. Josh Smith ripped that into right. It got out to Howard quickly, And the bases are loaded with nobody out.
Well, Josh Smith's a lot like most left-handed hitters. They like the ball kind of down and in, and that's exactly where that ball was. And the junior shortstop from right here at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge turned on that one, hits a rocket out to right field. The ball was hit so hard, the right fielder Howard gets it to it quickly. LSU unable to score from second base, but the bases are loaded now and nobody out.
Broussard has only been to the plate 4 times this year with the bases loaded. He's 1 for 4.
Yeah, and heads up here, you may see anything. May let Broussard swing away. You can see a push bunt towards first base. You can see a little bit of everything in this situation. Broussard's an outstanding bunter. A little bit tougher to bunt with the bases loaded because of force play at any bag, but I wouldn't rule it out.
He bounces it up the middle to second for 1, to first for 2. A run scores. The Tigers chop the lead in half, but Broussard is out 6-4-3 on the double play. The second of the game for the Privateers, and they've turned a lot of them this year.
Yeah, the one thing you didn't want to do, he grounded to a perfect everyday 2-hopper to the shortstop Willis, over to Isa Morrill, but there's Hal Hughes. LSU pushes its first run across the plate.
Hughes scores and Mathis moves to third, 2 outs. Here's Duplantis, who is 17 hits short of Eddie Furness for the all-time LSU record.
How big was a swing by Antoine Duplantis in Game 3 in Fayetteville the other day? LSU seemed to be out of it. Jeopardy of getting swept. It didn't look good, but the young man comes to the plate his senior season. He's done it his entire career, come up with big base hit after big base hit.
That was a 3-run home run in the 8th inning to give LSU a 3-2 win over Arkansas.
LSU basically stole that game, and it breathed a little bit of life into LSU at the time, and now they kind of control their own destiny, because if they get swept last weekend, you talk about having to make a deep run in Hoover. Now I think, again, LSU wins 2 or 3 this weekend, wins 2 games in the SEC tournament. I think they very well could have postseason baseball right here in Baton Rouge.
Duplantis goes the other way. There's his second hit of the game. He ties the score. He makes a big turn at first and then returns, but he goes the other way and drives in Mathis. So Duplantis is 2 for 2. He's 16 short of Eddie Furness.
336th base hit of his career. Drives in yet another run for Antoine Duplantis. That's 55 RBIs on the season, the senior outfielder.
You know, it was special in Fayetteville for both Duplantis brothers because just minutes apart, Antoine Duplantis hit the 3-run home run.
But I love where Cabrera hit that ball. And again, that's when he's at his best too. A young man that has all kind of power. He can drive it out to left field just as easy as he can drive it out to right field. He did a nice job staying inside that last ball. Hit a line drive, and it was picked off by Willis, the shortstop.
Cabrera has the longest current hitting streak for the Tigers at 5 games. And Duplantis has just run his hitting streak. As the throw by Goche at third base allowed Mathis and Hughes to reach. Josh Smith singled sharply. Broussard bounced into a double play. 2 outs, 2 in, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deuce is wild here in the third for the Tigers. A couple of base hits in this inning, one by Smith, one by Duplantis. Smith now has 68 hits, and Duplantis has 68 hits. Those two lead the team. The payoff to Cabrera, runner on the move. This ball is hit high. This ball is hit deep, twisting to the left side. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Daniel Cabrera goes the opposite way and powers the Tigers to a pair of runs on the 2-run home run. He's got a dozen dingers this year.
Well, we just got through saying Daniel Cabrera can drive it out to left field just as easy as he can get to right field. Watch this swing. Just a nice balanced swing, inside-out swing. It hits us from about 3 rows deep to left field. You mentioned his 12th homer, 45th RBI. A sophomore from right here in Baton Rouge.
So the Tigers get an RBI single. There was an error on the attempt at second base. 2 on, nobody out. Josh Smith singled. That loaded the bases. Brant Broussard bounced into a double play. A run scored. With 2 outs, Antoine Duplantis came through with a clutch base hit. That produced the tying run in the inning. And then Daniel Cabrera has just homered into the left field bleachers. Reed draws a base on balls, and that's the second walk from Ramirez. So this brings on the 8th hitter of the inning in Cade Beloso. He had a base hit last time. Ben will take some more questions as we move on in the 4th inning. Beloso, first pitch swinging, keeps the rally going with a 2-hopper through the right side. Reed is on his way to third. Safe at third base.
Well, I like it. First to third by Chris Reed. Beloso gets out in front of a fastball, just hits it over there in between first and second for a base hit. The question was, could Chris Reed go from first to third? Not a fast base runner, but a good base runner. Got an outstanding jump and watched this slide head first to the backside, the left field side of the bag. Avoids the tag by Gaucher. And Tigers are still rolling here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 4 runs in, runners on first and second and 2 out, or first and third rather, and 2 out.
And the Tigers have batted around. Here's Zach Watson, who hit into a double play last time, 5-4-3. Now remember, Ben, this whole thing was fueled and kept alive by that error.
0.4 runs a game.
Dupe the Schumann's 19.
Here's a question from Cody on Instagram. Says, give us an update on Nick Storrs. Well, we're hearing, unfortunately, for Nick Storrs, the rehab was going pretty good about a month ago, but then he kind of took a step back. And from what we're hearing from the big right-hander, who everybody's been waiting for a couple years to see, unfortunately, it sounds like his season is over. The rehab has just taken a step back from that surgery he had, and he will not be available.
Watson punches it to right field on a line, and Pierce Howard is there. But the Tigers get their 3rd and 4th runs on this swing by Daniel Cabrera, his 12th home run of the year, as he shoots it into the left field bleachers. 4 in the 3rd for the Tigers. Tejeda struck out, and Beck nips him as he comes inside, and Tejeda is another base runner. Now, UNO has had 1 base runner in the 1st. They've had 3 in the 2nd. They got 3 in the 3rd, and they've got another one here in the 4th.
Yeah, it's so important. I've always felt like the first batter of every inning, to me, was the most important one. You get that first batter out of every inning, the chance of the other team scoring goes way down from there. When he gets on, he's going to score roughly 50% of the time, leadoff batters.
Darren Willis clubbed a double his last time. He's been pretty solid at the bottom of the order for the Privateers. What else you got? With fans from questions, get in touch with Ben McDonald if you've got a question or would like him to make a comment on a particular subject.
You may be able to speak to this, but Russ says on Twitter that there's a sign entering Dry Prong that says if you lived here, you'd be home by now. Is that true? Do they have a sign out there?
Yes, they do.
It's that small, huh? If you lived here, you'd be home by now.
That's true.
Wow.
I don't know that there's another Dry Prong in America. Now, your former collegiate teammate Russ Springer knows all about Dry Prong.
Now, is that home for him? Is that where he lives, Russell Springer?
It's close to there.
Okay.
Russell lives out in the woods.
Sounds like Dry Prong's pretty much out in the woods to me.
Pretty much.
I thought I was from the country when I showed up to LSU many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and then Russell Springer stood beside me, and I said, I feel like a city boy next to him.
That was kind of comforting, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Our research team back in the production studios have done a quick search, and they have not found another dry prong in the country.
There you have it. I believe that.
Aaron George is throwing for LSU. I will tell you a story about an acquaintance of mine in dry prong. Had a little poodle type dog, and they named it Tim Tebow.
Oh, okay.
But there's a sad ending to this.
Oh, no.
Because they had let little Timmy out at night before they went to bed, and a coyote came by and grabbed Timmy, and off he ran with Timmy into the woods, and that's the end of Tim Tebow.
Yeah,
Now, how can I make that up?
that's a sad story.
It is a sad story. A shot under the glove of Chris Reed. Tejeda is on his way to third, and he'll make it easily. That ball was well struck, and Willis is 2 for 2 at the bottom of the order. Pardon me, it's Colin Morrill. Start talking about dogs being grabbed by coyotes, and the game gets away from you.
Willis struck out looking, and then you get a base hit by Morrill. And all of a sudden,
Morrill's hit the ball hard a couple of times, and he shoots his teammate to third.
Well, he's been hot. We touched on him in the Open. Co-Southland Conference Player of the Week this past week. 11 base hits last week for the UNO Privateers.
Here's Wade Rayburn. He's been hit by a pitch and singled. These Privateers have been aggressive at the plate. Blake Dean told both of us before the game that he wanted his team to be patient when the count called for it, but go up looking for something to swing at.
Patiently aggressive, if that's possible, and they have been. They've hunted fastballs, it seems like, and when they've got those fastballs in the middle of the plate, they've turned it loose and barreled up a lot of balls so far.
Man, this is a bit unusual because LSU has thrown only... Matthew Beck has thrown only 1 of 10 first pitch strikes, so 9 times he has fallen behind. That's not his usual MO.
No.
Now, he's had some problems with walks, but he generally finds a strike zone more often early in the count. That was a nice pitch.
Yeah, that's a difference maker for Matthew Beck. That pitch right there. That's been his best pitch throughout his career at LSU. The fastball's good, but this one right here, that's the difference maker. When Matthew Beck can get ahead and he can use his breaking ball, and it's an above average breaking ball, he can finish guys, and he certainly did it to Rayburn in that situation.
That one traveled deep and then darted over the inside edge at the knees.
All right, here's a quick question. Kellyanne on Twitter. Which pitcher out of the Southcast where it is pitcher for LSU? The stuff was electric. The fastball was 90 to 94 with a good breaking ball and a changeup, and he could be a difference maker for LSU out of that bullpen.
LSU really been questions. Get in touch with Ben McDonald.
I know you have them on your phone.
They're hidden away, though.
Season what we're
lead in the top of the 4th against the Privateers. Well, that ball is lofted down the left on now. Runners at first and third, 2 outs. LSU protecting a 4-2 lead in the top of the 4th against the Privateers. Well, that wind has calmed down a bit. LSU puts the shift on now. 3 infielders on the right side. And this ball is lofted into right field down the line. A long run for Duplantis, but he is there. So runners left on the corners. As Beck denies the Privateers in the fourth, LSU still leads 4-2, headed to the bottom of the inning.
To do better than what they did last year, but still work to do for them if they're going to get to their conference tournament for the fourth consecutive year under Blake Dean.
Hal Hughes watches that one a little high and away. He walked and scored in the third.
Remember, Blake Dean came to LSU as a pitcher slash outfielder, but the arm just got a little bit sore on him and really didn't see the mound hardly any.
He wore out.
And it seemed like every time he came to the plate, he found the barrel.
He reminded me a lot of his swing and his approach of Eddie Furnace.
Yeah. There's a difference in how Hugh as of late. Early in the year, he'd have swung at that 2-2 breaking ball because it started in the zone, but he picked up the spin right away and saw that it was going to break off the plate. Didn't offer it. Offer at it and ran the count to 3-2.
He lofts this one to center field. It carries out to Wade Rayburn. So if you've got a question for Ben McDonald or a comment, then hook up with him on Twitter or Instagram.
Here's one from Zach. On top of the injuries, what else do you believe has caused LSU's season to not go as well as many thought it would go? Well, I mean, the injuries has played the biggest part of it. And then I think on top of that, some guys for LSU have not had the kind of years that you projected that they would have. I think that's kind of it in a nutshell.
And I'll be a little more specific because in the first half of the season, quite honestly, the bottom third of the order was not, while it wasn't a given out, it didn't offer much resistance.
Right.
And so LSU basically was playing with 6 or 7 offensive players for a while, at least the first half of the season, before some of those other guys started contributing.
From a defensive standpoint, LSU is doing fine. I mean, you look at them, they're fourth in the league in fielding percentage. Runs per game are up a little bit more than what it was last year. So they've gotten better. It's just not been consistent for LSU, especially in the midweek games. And it's hard to say why. You could almost take this same team and bring them all back next year. And it's bring in the #1 recruiting class. You get Watson back. You get Hess back. You get Duplantis back. But we've not seen this team full. We've not seen them healthy. We've not seen the team on the field that you thought you had back in fall ball.
Mathis goes down on strikes as he got a little piece of this because it was handled by Tejeda.
Yeah, good swing. I mean, heads down right on it, just foul tips it right into the glove of Tejeda.
That's the first strikeout of the game for Ramirez. That was a changeup to Josh Smith, and he was out in front of it. He's 1 for 2. Daniel Cabrera's 2-run home run in a 4-run third inning is the difference in this game now, and Cabrera has hit safely in 6 straight. Two outs in the fourth as Ramirez tries to get back on beam. Smith is 1 for 2 at the top of the order. Rayburn and Howard converge on it. It's the right fielder Howard who is there. So a 1-2-3 inning, a couple of fly balls and a strikeout, and a nice return to form.
Carbs.
And Georgia will not make postseason play.
How about LSU, though, at that point, and then 4 of the top 6 RPI in the nation are out of the SEC?
I think right now, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Arkansas, and Georgia will be top 8 national seeds.
Aaron George on in relief here for Matthew Beck. Devin Fontenot started. He went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits and a couple of runs. Matthew Beck pitched 2 innings of scoreless relief, although he had to work out of some jams.
Now, Tennessee only, the RPI and strength of schedule outstanding for Tennessee, but they only have 12 wins right now. That's not going to get them in the NCAA tournament. They host Ole Miss this weekend, does Tennessee, and both of those teams desperately need wins. Because the magic number seems to be around 14. 14 conference wins in the SEC can get you into the NCAA tournament, 15 for sure.
Smith scoops, transfers, and throws. Nicely done. Josh Smith guns down Treston Kennard.
Yeah, really nice play by Josh Smith. This ball's kind of cued off the end of the bat. You see him on his horse charging his ball, gets to it quickly, makes a transition, and a strong throw over to Chris Reed at first base.
This is Aaron George's 18th appearance. He's got a 2-1 record, but a 7.65 ERA. 20 innings, 23 hits, 10 walks, 10 strikeouts. The opposition is batting .319 against him. But he gets Kennard on a roller to short. Here's Gage Howard. He has walked. He's been intentionally walked, and he had a base hit and scored in the second with Gauthier banging that 2-run homer.
There's a good breaking ball by George, young man from North Louisiana. Spent 2 years at San Jacinto Junior College and comes to LSU.
I like that phrasing. There's a good breaking ball by George.
How about that, huh? That was an accident.
Well, it was nice. Broussard. Yes. That is superb. Backhand side, slow roller. Brant Broussard. No room for a bobble. Watch this. This is Mayhaw Jelly Sweet.
Doesn't get any sweeter than that. Well, I think, and you're seeing Paul Maneri making a move right here this late in the season, and Paul's known for doing this, and I'm not saying it's going to stay like this, but from a defensive standpoint, LSU is better with Hal Hughes at third base and Broussard at second base. Dugas may be a little bit better hitter, but I think Broussard gives you better range, better defense, and Hal Hughes, to me, again, had a great weekend with the bat last week. But as a defender, I think Hal Hughes is as good as anybody can run out on the field when it comes to playing defense. He can play short, second, or third.
Salo Aiza has flied to center and walked. And he hits this one long on a line into the left field bleachers. Salo Aiza sends a rope out into the left field bleachers. You could hang laundry on that one. That ball never got over 20 feet high and got into the left field bleachers in a hurry. His 6th home run of the year.
That was a frozen rope, is what we used to call it back in my day. And I tell you what, Aaron George missed a spot big time. Brock Mathis had rocked to the outside part of the plate, one on the outside corner, but instead this ball is traveling right down the middle of the plate, just about belt high. And Aiza turns that one around quickly for his 6th home run of the season, his 27th RBI. And UNO pulls within 1.
That was a laser into the left field bleachers with 2 outs. Here's Gauthier, who hit one the other way last time, or back in the second inning, his first at bat for a 2-run homer. And he flied to right back in the third. So after 2 ground ball outs, Aiza has cut the gap to 1 run. LSU leading 4-3.
Boy, give UNO's offense credit. They have just not missed any balls that's been sitting in the middle of the plate. When LSU pitchers have made a mistake tonight, UNO have made them pay for it.
Zach Watson back in a hurry and stabs it 2 steps in front of the dirt. Gauthier has hit 3 balls very hard. He's got a 2-run homer to show for it. UNO pulls within a run on this swing. And a stream of milk out into the left field bleachers off the bat of Salo Aiza. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's 4-3. LSU leads. 7 record leading the East. Georgia not far behind. Missouri having a surprising year. And then Arkansas leads Mississippi State by 1 game. With Ole Miss and LSU in 3rd and 4th.
You mentioned Missouri. They're a really good team, and nobody's going to see Missouri when it comes to regional time. They'll probably be a number 2 seed in somebody's regional. And I tell you what, the pitching has been off the charts for Missouri all season long. The offense is starting to match it in some ways. Cameron Meisner, the center fielder, is a can't-miss first-round draft pick. He's a difference maker in the middle of that lineup. He plays center field.
Well, Caitlin Ramirez is working in the 5th. Blake Dean told us before the game that he wanted 5 innings out of this freshman starter. He got through the first without yielding a run. A double play helped him in the second as the Tigers went scoreless there. But a 2-out rally in the third produced 4 runs. He came back and got a 1-2-3 inning in the 4th. And so Caitlin Ramirez pitching here in the 5th. This is playable on the right side. Morrill makes the catch at first base.
Well, we're getting another question about the RPI and what it means and what it stands for. Ratings Percentage Index is what it is. And the way you get a good RPI, I mean, there's a lot of things factored in. Your wins, of course, what you do on the weekends. And there it is. That's how it's kind of weighted. Your wins, your opponent's wins. So if you knock off, like LSU knocked off Mississippi State 2 out of 3 this week, and LSU gets a lot of points in the RPI for doing that because Mississippi State has had an outstanding year. Your win percentage against your opponents, the teams you play, how well they do during the season.
This is high and deep. Will it stay fair? You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye as Antoine Duplantis homers for the 10th time this year. He's 3 for 3 tonight. Watch out, Eddie Furness. Here comes Antoine Duplantis.
Well, if LSU can make that postseason run, there's a look at Mondo. He just said, hey, that's my brother. That's my brother just hit that ball. He's all excited for his big brother. And watch this swing. What you've seen for 4 years, LSU, a nice, balanced, short stroke to the baseball. And Antoine Duplantis buries another home run. 10th of the year, another RBI to go to 56 RBIs on the season.
And what a great job from our camera people in locating NCAA record pole vaulter Mondo Duplantis out here at the ballpark cheering on his older brother.
Yeah, that's good stuff there.
Antoine Duplantis swings maybe a 35-inch bat. He said, I carry a 12-foot pole with me. Cabrera has hit the ball hard 3 times. He's now got 2 base hits, including a 3rd inning home run. So Daniel Cabrera is 2 for 3.
Yeah, this ball is hit as hard as any ball tonight. Just a fastball kind of running away from Cabrera. Hits it right back up the middle where it came from. That's 3 balls struck hard for Daniel Cabrera. Lined out in a home run and a single. Antoine Duplantis 3 for 3. So the middle part of this lineup has answered the bell so far tonight for LSU.
Cabrera moving. Hit is a nice guy to have at the plate in a hit and run situation. Doesn't strike out a lot. Knows what to do with the bat. He knows how to steer the ball.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about hitters for LSU, Reed, not a big power guy, obviously, but as far as handling the bat, understanding the strike zone, being able to make contact, I don't know if there's any better than Chris Reed in this LSU lineup.
Ground ball right side to short for 1. Back to first, another double play. These Privateers, second in the league in the Southland Conference in double plays. They've turned 3 tonight. But Antoine Duplantis measures 1 down the right field line. Home run number 10, base hit number 3.
Yeah, Auburn comes in 13 and 14 in SEC play. Just a win away, probably 2 for sure of getting into the NCAA tournament. Auburn's got a good team. Unfortunately for LSU, they got Tanner Burns back, one of the best pitchers in the SEC. He missed a couple of weeks with a sore shoulder. He came back last weekend, so LSU will face him. And then Jack Owen, the left-hander, was out for about 6 weeks. He came back 2 weekends ago.
Left-handers have given LSU some trouble this year at times.
Yeah. And Jack Owen was really, really good. Speaking of really good, how about this breaking ball? Gets ahead, expands the zone, does Aaron George. Nice job by Mathis, the catcher, to block it, keep it in front. Jumps out there, clears a path to first base, and throws the strike The first out here in the 6th inning.
Jorge Tejeda goes down swinging. And this is Darren Willis, who has doubled and struck out. Add a single to his total. Willis goes the other way and knocks the liner over the head of Broussard.
Well, here's another question from Michelle. What's the status of Caleb Gilbert? From what we're hearing about Caleb Gilbert, unfortunately, he had surgery on that right shoulder that just has not responded. He continues to rehab it, trying to come back, but it doesn't look like he's going to make it back this year. And that's a big arm LSU was counting on. Obviously, his first 2 years at LSU, he was outstanding, and LSU could have really used him in a midweek role or even in that bullpen. Last year, he pitched the majority of the year. He was hurt. He had surgery after the season, and the shoulder has just not responded.
Now, Caleb Gilbert would be eligible to return. I believe he's got a year left.
He does. But he graduated in engineering, and so, there's a good chance that Caleb Gilbert may not be back for LSU next year. He may move on. If that shoulder's not going to respond, no sense in him trying to prolong it.
Morrill chops one the other way. And that's his second base hit. Colin Morrill just measured that one between Hughes and Smith on the left side.
Well, Morrill can really hit. Picked up his second base hit. He's hit 2 other balls hard as well. This ball's kind of running away from him. He did try to pull it, hit it right over there in between Hal Hughes and Josh Smith. And here come the Privateers, first and second, only 1 out.
The tying run at first base for Wade Rayburn. He's been hit by a pitch. He has singled. He has struck out. This is the first time he has faced Aaron George. He's first pitch swinging and could not find that one. That bender had Rayburn swinging over it. Hitting a little above 300.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't. You're right. It could be really quick.
How's your fishing been this spring? That's nub foul.
My truck. You're like me. You got a weekend off, huh?
That's a nice pick right through my heart.
Well, my son's graduating from high school, so I asked off for this weekend, so I'll be around the house.
Yeah, but I was not planning to come to your son's graduation.
I understand.
Look at this sinking pitch. Nicely done.
And Rayburn wasn't planning on getting 3 really good breaking balls either, as he strikes out for the second out of the inning.
Pierce Howard comes to the plate. He's 0 for 3. He has struck out, fly to center, and fly to right. Tying run at first base. And
good ones to Rayburn. He's look. Mark.
LSU's lead is 2. UNO has a couple of base runners with 2 outs.
You look at the starting lineup. Obviously, Brant Broussard and Duplantis are seniors. Cabrera can't go anywhere. Chris Reed is gone. He's a senior. I expect Watson. I think Watson was a draftable sophomore last year. I expect him to be gone. So if you look at the starting 9 tonight for LSU in that lineup, probably Josh Smith will get drafted and most probably leave, and I would think Zach Watson as well.
Well, and then those who are not going to be eligible anymore. So you've got a pretty large turnaround for LSU in terms of the starters we see right now. There'll be a lot of positions to replace.
Yeah, with the 3 seniors in the lineup and Chris Reed, Duplantis, and Broussard, obviously they are gone, and then 2 in the lineup right now. So you're going to lose probably 5 of the 9, counting the DH.
Well, here are the LSU graduates from this team. Congratulations to them. Brant Broussard, not sure that pitch was a strike.
Yeah, 1-0 count. You think you're going to get a fastball. That's what Howard's looking for. And it looked like a fastball out of the hand. It stayed in that strike zone for most of the 60 feet, 6 inches, and then it just fell down and away. George evens the count at 1-1.
That's a pretty good breaking ball. Hit left side. Smith, tough angle, but he gets it done. Josh Smith, momentum going to his right. He had to throw it back left, and he put it in the chest of Chris Reed. So the Privateers leave the bases loaded in the 6th. We move on. LSU maintains its 5-3 lead.
Thursday.
49. So he struck out a lot of 17. That's not bad. He has struck out 49. So he struck out a lot of people.
Yeah.
But he's given up a lot of base hits.
Yeah, it tells you if you got more strikeouts than innings pitched, you know you have good stuff. And but it also tells me he gets behind the count, has to throw fastballs. But he takes over for Ramirez, who really had a good start. I mean, 4 unearned runs for Ramirez, so only gives up 1 earned run out of the 5, walked 2 and struck out 1. Big error over by the third baseman Gaucher led to a big inning for LSU as they put up a 4 spot.
So a very nice start for Cortland Ramirez. And now John Barr. Opponents are hitting .314 against this right-hander for the year. He's got Beloso and Watson and Hughes facing him in the bottom of the 6th. New Orleans got out in front 2-0 in the 2nd on an Antonio Gaucher home run, his 7th of the year. LSU came back with 4 in the 3rd on an RBI single by Duplantis and a 2-run home run by Cabrera. LSU got another one in the 5th on Antoine Duplantis' 10th home run. Duplantis hit 2 homers in 2018. He hit 2 homers in 2017. He hit 2 homers as a freshman. So that's 6 home runs, equally divided among his first 3 seasons. And he's hit 10 home runs this year. And Beloso goes down on strikes.
How about this 0-2 pitch? It's a breaking ball. He buries kind of down and in on Beloso. Beloso cannot come up with it. And a good start for John Barr.
LSU has been closing out games nicely when leading after 6 innings. They are 20-2 this year when they have the lead after 6 innings.
This guy right here, for me, this is the key for LSU's offense and for their postseason run. I think if Watson can return to just some of the form he showed you late in the season, his freshman year last year, not a great year for him, but boy, was he good towards the end as LSU made that run to Omaha 2 years ago. And if Zach Watson can begin to hit like he did then and early in the season, I think LSU has a real shot. Been pushed down towards the bottom of the lineup now, hitting in the 7 hole for LSU, and he can give you some stability down towards the bottom.
Zach is hitting .317 coming into this game. And he's been right there in SEC play. He's hitting .320 against SEC pitching. So he's been remarkably consistent. LSU has won on.
Continues a trend going back to last year. LSU struggled on the road last year as well.
Watson lofts this one into shallow center field. And with a parachute attached to it, Zach Watson gets his first base hit.
You'll take him any way you can get him. A little smile on his face. Kind of got out in front of that breaking ball by John Barr. Hits it right off the cap of the bat, but strong enough to get it out there where the center fielder Rayburn can't get to it.
Tell me, as a former pitcher, when you're working well, you know you throw a good pitch, you almost fool the hitter, he gets just a little piece of it, and then a plop base hit into center field. What does that do for you?
I mean, when you make a bad pitch, you expect it to get hit hard, so you're not surprised when it gets hard. When you make a good pitch, you're expecting an out, and those are sometimes the toughest ones to swallow. You make a really good pitch, throw your best pitch, and the guy just launches a grenade out there. Those are the ones that kind of aggravate you. But you hope the law averages will equal out. Maybe you leave one down the middle, somebody lines out.
Hal Hughes has walked, scored, and flied to center. We might see Watson on the move here. He stretches his lead by a half step.
Well, he's 10 for 10 in stolen bases. Hadn't been picked off yet. But don't forget, it was about 3 weeks ago.
He's on the move. Hit and run, slow roller right side, and a nice play by Salo Isa because he was nearly wrong-footed, but he was going to cover the bag and then reversed and was able to get the slow roller.
Yeah, very athletic play by the second baseman, Isa. Watch Isa. He's going to cover the bag on the hit and run. Right here, he reverses fields. Ball not hitting very hard at all. Gets to it quickly, gets rid of it with a strong and accurate throw over to first base, and that gets the second out, but LSU moves a runner into scoring position.
Isa recovered very nicely. He covered a lot of dirt to get to that ball. So 2 outs, and Watson at Mathis waves and can't find it. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for the new pitcher, John Barr. And Watson left at second base. Chase Costello is coming out of the bullpen for LSU. He'll be next up.
It's an
Herrera and Duplantis for LSU. And this is freshman Chase Costello out of Pompano Beach, Florida. Big fellow at 6'4", 210 pounds, an 0-1 record. And an ERA over 11. This is appearance number 12, but only 15 in the third innings, 22 hits allowed, 9 walks, make it 11 walks, 9 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, and he's not had the consistency for his stuff. I mean, because the stuff's good. I mean, you're going to see a fastball 90 to 93 miles an hour with some good sink to it, a breaking ball and a changeup. But because of health issues, he's just not had consistent time on the mound. He's pitched and had to take 10 days, 2 weeks off, pitch, and he went through that for a lot of the season. But as of late, he's starting to get some consistent mound time.
Between those high hit and walk numbers, he's worked out of the stretch a great deal.
Yeah, he has, and this is a good sinking fastball down and away, and check swing, call for a strike.
Isa is on deck, and then Goche. Gage Howard, the leading hitter for the Privateers, at 345 as he stands in. He's 1 for 2 tonight with an intentional walk, and he scored a run in the second inning. Watson, yes. That center fielder covers more ground than pine pollen in March.
Yes, he does, and it's all about the first step for these outfielders. And you can see Watson, as soon as that ball was hit, no hesitation at all. Quickly took the right angle to the ball and took a ball that was hit very hard out toward right center field gap and easily ran it down. Well, here's another question from Twitter, and it's directed towards you. The folks, at least 5 or 6 of them, want to know.
Duplantis. My future.
Who do you think is your center fielder next year? Now, shortstop is an interesting question. I think Hal Hughes will certainly be in that mix for shortstop next year. There's a young man over at Denham Springs High School coming in, a freshman by the name of Cade Doty, has a chance to be in that role. Another young man over at Zachary High School.
Now, that's Braden Doty's brother, isn't it?
Braden Doty's younger brother. Played shortstop in high school.
If Hal Hughes can contribute offensively, there's no doubt he'll be the heir apparent at shortstop.
And there's 3 shortstops coming in next year. Cade Doty and Colliard Cranford over at Zachary High School. And that young man had Tommy John surgery, but expected to be back, and he's a really good one as well.
Goche Sends a one-hopper into right field as it skipped through the infield. This young man looks really good at the plate. Now he's homered, he has singled, he's flied to right, he's flied to center, but he's hit the ball hard 4 times.
Yeah, found the barrel all 4 times.
Here's Jorge Tejeda, who has struck out twice, and sandwiched in between those strikeouts, he was hit by a pitch. But I believe we're going to have a pinch hitter here. This is Robert Fabello. For Bello out of Miami. Bello is hitting 176. He's had 34 at bats, 5 starts this year. He's a transfer from Miami-Dade College. 6 base hits, including a couple of doubles on a home run.
So season to go along with Hal Hughes.
The 2-2 pitch. A check swing.
Throw the bat at. Watch this swing. This is not even a swing. It's more like just, I'm going to chop some wood here. See if I can make contact because I was fooled. Does a nice job. Spoils a pitch.
And hits one into right field on the next pitch to extend the inning. Goche hustles over to third. And a nice job off the bench by Fabello.
Yeah. Talk about spoiling one. You just catch it. That's about battling at the plate, grinding it out. He got totally fooled on the pitch, but he just threw the bat at it, made contact, gets a foul ball. Then he gets a pitch he can handle, another fastball, hits it for a base hit. Here comes UNO, first and third and 2 out.
These Privateers now have out-hit the Tigers 10-9 with Darren Willis at the plate. He has doubled, he has struck out, he has singled. And the Tiger bullpen is up and getting busy. Will Rapole is throwing for LSU in the bullpen. And a nice breaking ball strike to Willis from Chase Costello. He got the first 2 batters. But Goche has singled. Fabello off the bench has singled. Josh Smith slings it over to first base. And the Tigers again cast ice on a would-be rally. 2 left on. Costello works out of a hot spot. We move on with LSU leading 5-3.
And it's shown kind of back strikeouts.
Well, strikeouts for Brant Broussard are very rare. He's one of the toughest to strike out in the SEC. Only 1 every 8.5 at bats. That ranks him 9th in the league, Ben, as only 8 players in the SEC have been tougher to strike out than Brant Broussard. Yeah. By the way, Duplantis strikes out
walk very much either.
Once every 15.5 at bats.
Jake
walking
Mangum,
too, probably.
Yeah, and for a leadoff hitter. Jake Mangum came in with 368 hits in his career.
That's a nice running catch by Treston Kennard. Duplantis is retired for the first time as he fouls out to the left fielder. And a good inning for the southpaw Christopher DeMayo. So he struck out nearly a batter an inning. He's walked 7. So Will Rapole will try to defend a 2-run lead in the 8th. UNO has 10 base hits. They've out-hit the Tigers by 1. Each team has 2 homers. Colin Morrill has 2 base hits tonight. He's 2 for 4. He's first pitch swinging. Watson retreats in a hurry, still moving, and makes the catch. A step and a half in front of the wall in deep center field.
Well, UNO continues to sit on first pitch fastballs, and when they get them, they have hit them. This one chases Zach Watson all the way back to the wall for the first out here at the top of the 8th inning.
Ben, how many fly balls do you think Watson has caught tonight?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say 5.
7.
Oh.
He's been tested. Here's Rayburn. 1 for 3. A couple of strikeouts, a base hit, and he's been hit by a pitch. You know, we're getting to the point in the thank some of the folks who have worked on these telecasts, not only this year, but through the 5 years that the SEC ESPN network has been in progress. Each SEC school produces dozens of their own broadcasts. They are ESPN quality, ESPN standards. They go back through the ESPN portals and are distributed all over the world. But Ben, certainly, and I'm going to be leaving out some people and don't mean to do that, but Kevin Wagner, our producer, head of the network, director John Sheeby, who does a magnificent job, Roland Alford working tape, Jack Warren on audio, Lee Ciano in graphics, along with Josh Green, and many, many others in the studio, in the athletic department, across the street in the athletic building. But just some of those who spend so much time and do so much preparation and work really hard in the 100 or so broadcasts that LSU produces every year.
Are you working on a raise for next year?
Not at all.
Okay, no, I'm just asking because if it works, I'm going to get in there and read some of them names with you. How about that breaking ball by Will Rapole, huh, for the second out?
Well, and we've got a lot of camera people who work diligently. This ball is dropped into left field for a base hit by Howard.
It is truly a production.
Rusty Alford, Marshall Courtney, Frank Hilliard, who's not here tonight but works many, many games, Chris Lecoq, Jeremiah Johnson, Dan Wolt, David Landry, multi-talented worker for us and the scoreboard replays you see, and an entire new crew doing that. It's a lot of people spend a lot of time and care deeply about the product. We earnestly thank all of them. Happy birthday, 55 years old today, Vance Venable, engineer in charge here in the booth, and a guy who is extraordinary at what he does. Ricky Marshall. Nobody works harder than Ricky on this crew. And many others. Rayshawn McCassell. I could go on, and I'm sure I'm admitting a few people. There's a guy to my left, Randy Hayden, who's the best in the business in statistician work and research. Paul Maneri has gone to the mound, and Zach step aside quickly. LSU 5, UNO 3.
LSU. The outside for me is not worried about location. He missed a spot. You can see Mathis clearly set up on the outside part of the plate. This ball kind of runs up and in. But that's when Hess is most comfortable. He's just letting it go. I mean, he's on the mound in relief, and he can come in and just blow for about 30 pitches and let it go.
Well, that didn't take long. Some heat from Hess. He strikes out Kennard. Runner left at first. We go to the bottom of the 8th. LSU 5. UNO 3.
Number 1 conference in the RPI.
Cabrera lifts this one to center field. And it's snared by Rayburn. And Christopher DeMayo has faced 4 batters and quickly retired all of them.
Well, he's done exactly what he's needed to do. UNO just 2 runs down. You see the score 5-3, and he gave an opportunity. He's hung a couple of zeros on the scoreboard. He'll try to do it again and give that offense an opportunity in the top of the 9th inning to tie it up or go ahead.
Well, if you're looking ahead to the top of the 9th, it's Howard, it's Isa, and it's Goche. 5, 6, and 7 in Blake Dean's order. And it looks like Zach Hess is going to come out and pitch the 9th because there's nobody in the LSU bullpen.
Well, remember, Fontenot was used early. Vittmeyer is out. Peterson threw those 4 innings on Saturday. So Hess is really the only guy you have down there that has closing experience.
Chris Reed takes a pitch elevated. He has flied to left. He has walked. He's bounced into a 4-6-3 double play. UNO has rolled 3 double plays tonight and had a chance at a 4th one and couldn't make it happen. And that's what really opened the gates for LSU in the 3rd. Guess what? Stop the presses. Chris Reed draws a walk. That never happens, right?
That's a young man that has an understanding of the strike zone better than most.
We appreciate all those folks who have been in contact with Ben tonight, asking some very good questions and making some nice observations. Yeah. LSU has been out hit by 2, but leads by 2. Peloso yanks that one up into the top row of the bleachers on the right side. Hey, nicely done. Nice grab there. Ben, describe this one. Watch this.
1 hop, 2 hops. A little quick ping pong, and how about that? A little bare hand save right over the rail before it fell.
Good job. That took a steep left turn, and they were ready for it. Peloso sends this one out to left field. Kennard makes the catch in fair territory. So Cage night is most likely done at 2 for 4. Here's Watson. He's 1 for 3. Watson always has that Watson draw.
Big weekend in order to get there. Probably going to take a sweep.
Runner on the move, and Watson draws a base on balls. So 2 walks in the inning from DeMayo. 2 outs, and Hal Hughes comes to the plate. He has walked and scored, fly to center, and bounced out to the second baseman.
Here's another question coming in from Chris. Do you think Zach Hess comes back for 1 more year to have a better year and bring his draft stock up, or do you think he's gone?
That's a good question.
It is a good question. Come the money that you
pitch in what would have been his sophomore season.
Correct. Fontenot returns, just a sophomore, so that potentially there's your closer. I think Peterson, his junior year this year, he's probably gone. Peterson
probably will have a choice. One ball, 2 strikes. Reed at second, Watson on first. They have drawn walks. Ground ball under the glove of Morrill. Reed coming to the plate. He scores. LSU expands its lead. An opposite field single for Hal Hughes. So he is starting to awaken offensively.
Yeah, big week last week for Hal Hughes. He continued to battle, fought off some tough pitches, and that was a tough one too. Ball borderline strike on the outside part of the play, but he shoots it over past the first baseman. Morrill. Boy, you saw Chris Reed come around. That's a big insurance run for LSU here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
And we Garza behind the plate. Alive, it'll be Josh Smith. And he does. So after a perfect 7th, DeMayo has walked 3 batters and given up a base hit in the 8th. It's 6-3 Tigers. Josh Smith. This plate is jumping around now on DeMayo. He's got to find the strike zone. He does not. Josh Smith lays off of it and draws a bases loaded walk. Four walks in the inning. And 1 base hit allowed. Now remember, DeMayo has a history of not finding the plate. Grayson Smith is in the bullpen for UNO as Brant Broussard comes to the plate.
East.
Grayson Smith, a senior out of Tallahassee, Florida. A finance major, is on to try to get his team back to the dugout. 1-2 record at 10. Loud count 6
between
his previous outings. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, bases loaded. Watson, Hughes, and Dugas are aboard. Reed has scored after I should say Hughes, Dugas, and Smith aboard. Ground ball to the shortstop. They'll make the play at second. And the Tigers get a couple of runs out of it as Reed and Watson to pitch for that team next year. And I know he's disappointed that had a little soreness in his senior season and not able to work much, but he'll be ready to rock and roll at Eunice, won't he?
Yeah. Oh no, he's excited about it. Going to work really hard this summer. Like
well,
a lot
that
of kids.
program has won multiple national championships.
Yeah, he's looking forward to that, and graduating here in a couple of days, as you mentioned, and graduated with something I never did. He graduated with a 4.3 grade point average, which took me 2 semesters.
Mom.
There is Saul Garza, jumps in for Brock Mathis here in the 9th inning, behind the plate.
Will this make the gap? No, it won't. Daniel Cabrera runs it down in left center field.
How about the jump? Daniel Cabrera got ball slicing back to him the whole time, and that ball almost popped out. He had to grab it twice.
So Gage Howard lines out to Cabrera. Zach Kess has faced 2 batters. He struck out 1, and he has retired the first batter in the 9th. Here's Salo Aiza.
I'll tell you what, I've been that's for UNO, 10 for LSU.
That's inside the line. Aiza is on his way to second base, and he'll make it easily. So he has homered and doubled and been a pest at the plate.
Yeah, make that 12 hits for UNO. Fastball count, again, gets a fastball, and UNO has been really good putting the barrel on fastballs tonight from LSU.
This is the 9th time this season that Aiza has pulled up at second base. Here's Antonio Goat singled, and he's hit the ball hard each time. To all the questions, I want to thank all the people. Certain questions. This is hit a long way. Way back. Top row, right field bleachers. Goche homers for the second time. And this young man has turned on some pitches tonight. 8th home run of the year for this little guy, and he whacked that one.
Well, I'll tell you what. Wow, 3 hits on the night, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. His 8th home run, 35th RBI. You talk about bat speed. This is a fastball inside. Watch him pull his hands in real quick to the body. And a little skip there as soon as he comes out of the box. He knew he got that one. And I mean in a big way. As he puts that one on the back bleachers.
So Zach Hess has been ripped twice here in the 9th. A double by Isa. And a long home run by Goche, his second of the night. And it brings on Fabello, who had a base hit off the bench in the 7th. 7-5 LSU leading.
And down now.
And he walks Fabello after giving up a double and a home run.
Yeah, and all of a sudden UNO brings a tying run to the plate here in the top of the 9th inning.
Out and bounce. Works its way off the plate outside. So Hess came back with the 2-2 breaking pitch.
Yeah, if you can throw it 2-2, you can certainly throw it 3-2 because you got the feel for it.
He went back inside with the heater. That's an awfully difficult pitch to handle just a few inches up the bat.
Yeah, that was a well-located fastball right in on the hands of Willis.
Hess put a little hook on that and got his man.
Yeah, this one here, 3-2 count. You're looking fastball, and that one right there will hurt your feelings. LSU just 1 out away from knocking
Thielen and on a shut top of the order, and he's hit a couple of other balls very hard. Now they put the shift on for him as Josh Smith goes over behind second base on the first base side from his normal shortstop position. There you see the Tigers' defensive alignment, and Hess works ahead, a ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, breaking ball inside for strike 1. Then he goes with a fastball up and away for strike 2. So lots of options for Zach Hess. Go with the breaking ball down or an elevated fastball.
A check swing, and he committed, and this game is over.
Nice recovery by Zach Hess right there. Gives up a 2-run home run, falls behind the count, and has a few words for the umpire, but then settles back down, gets the job done as he gets some back-to-back strikeouts and picks up his first save of 2019.
That's ruled a strike at the plate on the check swing, and this game is over as the LSU Tigers get the victory over the Privateers. It did not come easily, but the Tigers, after scoring 4 in the 3rd, never trailed. So Ben McDonald, a couple of home runs tonight. Daniel Cabrera had a 2-run shot in the 3rd for the Tigers. That was a pivotal base hit. Antoine Duplantis got 3 hits closer to Eddie Furnace, including 2 singles, and his 10th home run of the year, a solo shot in the 5th. And the Tigers, with those 2, primarily led the offense for LSU.
Yeah, I thought the offense really did well for LSU. UNO pitched it pretty good tonight, but LSU's offense was good. You hope if you're LSU, you can carry this momentum.
Only one for that's the Tears. For Ben McDonald, I'm Len Rollins, saying so long from